Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining T20 Stars Q&A for the month. I'm Shane Watson. First of all, I'm just going to start by apologising sincerely. We weren't able to, Brett Lee and I were going to do an Instagram live and upload a Q&A that we recorded. Unfortunately, the audio just didn't work at all, so we weren't able to upload it to his Instagram live page. So look, sincere apologies, but I will get through a couple of questions that were asked, that were sent in for our Instagram live chat. Thank you so much for the birthday, very kind birthday wishes that have been sent over the last couple of days. It is incredibly kind. But I'll just get into the first question, or a couple of questions that got asked to Brett Lee and myself. I do want to give a shout out to Danielle Briggs for your very special email. It's something that just is an incredible offshoot of what we do, and what Brett and I love doing of playing cricket, and what we have done is that we're able to inspire people. And look, your very kind email really means a lot, that by what we did and how we've lived our life, it's inspired you. So yeah, thank you so much for sending that beautiful email in. I'm going to answer Muhammad Ahmed's question around what our best moment, Brett Lee and my best moment, was playing together. And look, there's no question, Brett and I have talked about this, there's no question the Champions Trophy win in 2009 was something incredibly special for us together. The Champions Trophy was, it's a knockout mini World Cup, one day World Cup. And a couple of things in particular. One, 2009, our side that we had at that time was very different to the 2006 Champions Trophy that we won, and also the 2007 World Cup that we won in the West Indies. The makeup of the side was very different. We still had some greats, obviously, like Brett Lee. We had Ricky Ponting playing, but we didn't have Adam Gilchrist and Matt Haid and those guys playing it. So it was a huge achievement alone to be able to win that tournament. But the one thing that we loved and really attracted us to wanting to win more than anything were these really cool white jackets that you received if you won the tournament. So I know Brett's still got his. I've still got mine hung up in my wardrobe. So that was something, because a really special moment that Brett and I had. We had a lot of very special moments on the ground, but that winning the Champions Trophy, the mini World Cup in South Africa, was a really special moment that we shared together. So I'm going to move on to the questions that I didn't get the chance to get through in my last Q&A, which was the Insta Live on my T20's Insta page. And I will start off with a question from Halima Ahmed, who is an incredible. Your love and support just blows me away. Thank you so much for all that you do, and the support that you give me. And this is also a question along similar lines that Akul Anand asked, and it's how I got the best out of myself throughout my career and throughout my life. And the one thing that I know is you need to be able to find your dream, that you dream of. So for me, it was always, I wanted to play cricket for Australia. That was my dream since I was a young kid. I remember talking and mentioning it to my mum when I was about 7 or 8. And I was watching a test match and I said, Mum, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to play cricket for Australia. So once I defined my dream from a young age, then I just had a really single focus around doing everything that I possibly could to be able to get closer to that dream. And for me, there's no question, it was built in by my mum and dad, was that I needed the best education I possibly could to make sure that I had something to fall back on if something else, like my cricket, didn't go that well. So education was always really important. So I always studied very hard. But from a cricket perspective, yes, I played a lot of different sports growing up through my my teenage years, my early years. Played a lot of different sports, but cricket has always been number one passion and the thing that I was probably better at as well. So I just I set my heart on, I wanted to be a cricketer. I wanted to be the best cricketer that I possibly could. And then every day I was doing something to be able to get better and get close to my dream. And look, there is no question, there's always setbacks. And that's what I have realised throughout life. There are always roadblocks that pop up in your way. Like from the age of 12, I got my first stress fracture in my back from bowling. And then at 16, I got told by an orthopedic surgeon that I should stop bowling altogether because I had my third set of stress fractures in my back at 16. And then, throughout my career, so many different times where I got told that I should stop bowling. because of the injuries I was getting. But I just had my vision was I wanted to be the best cricketer that I possibly could be, and I found ways around these roadblocks and just never accepted no for an answer. There's always different avenues, even if it's a longer route, which a lot of the times it is, but because I had that dream and the desire to be able to get to my end point of playing cricket for Australia and being the best cricketer I possibly could be, those roadblocks that popped up in the way quite regularly at times I was able to find my way around them, even though at times it was very painful. It did get quite a few people offside at times, but I just knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to achieve my dream of playing, being the best cricketer I possibly could be. So that's a huge learning about how I got the best out of myself, and I continue to use that in everything, whether it's my playing days now, right at the back end, or the next phase of my life with T20 Stars and other things that I'm doing as well. Is just understanding you got to find your dream and set your goal, and then have that burning desire to be able to just know that there's going to be things that pop up, know that there's going to be roadblocks, but there's always ways to get around it. At the time, it's very painful, but there are always ways around it. I got a couple of questions from Deepti Ranjarajan, and one question is my best memory of Lee and the kids. Look, the thing that really, there's one time that really stands out for me was my family and I went up to the Kakadu in Australia, which is up the Northern Territory, right up north. It's a remote area. It's an absolutely stunning area. There's a lot of billabongs and wetlands, and we went. It was sort of 4 or 5 star camping, but we went there. It was just us. There's no mobile phone reception. There was nothing up there. It was just us going fishing in the billabongs, trying to catch some barramundi. It was just quality time that my family and I spent together. We also, up at the Kakadu, there's a lot of education around the first people of Australia, the Aboriginals, and all their incredible culture. So not just me and my wife, but also my Will and Matilda, my kids. It was a great education around the Aboriginal people and the incredible knowledge they have of the land of Australia. So that for me was really one of the most special times with my kids. This is from Deepti still, describe my childhood memories with my family and my sister. I was incredibly lucky. There's no question for mum and dad, the amazing support that they gave me throughout my life and continue to. They always just allowed me to dream and just gave me every opportunity that they could. But my mum and dad certainly weren't. They worked incredibly hard to make ends meet. I'd never felt that I went without, but I definitely didn't feel like I had an abundance of things. But the one thing they did do is allow me to have opportunities. So I've had a cricket camp on, they would drive me there. If I had school things on, they would drive me there and support me. And the same thing with my sister. Like my sister, unfortunately at times, especially through my teenage years when I had tournaments on and my parents had to drive me to distances to be able to go and play games and that, my sister was left on her own at a couple, not heaps, but a little bit. But my sister's support throughout my life and my career, like she looked after all my things off the field really for like 15 years. She did all my bookkeeping and was like my gatekeeper in a way with everything else apart from cricket. So I've been incredibly lucky to have an amazing support structure around me and a family network around me just to love and support me and be there through thick and thin, no matter what. And if it wasn't for my family to be able to help me and support me through the challenging times that I had through my life, like everyone has through their life, I'm forever grateful. Who was my inspiration behind starting T20 Stars? Well, my inspiration was just wanting to get. It was just something of talking to actually one of my mates who just talking about T20 being the thing that I know really well now. It's what I'm specialised in the last 4 or 5 years, and just that there's not a lot of people who've played a lot of T20 cricket. So to be able to really get the information and knowledge out there that I've been fortunate enough to be able to generate over the last sort of 10, 15 years has been, I feel very fortunate. So T20 Stars is a way for me to get the love and transfer the knowledge of the game of cricket that I've had, and T20 cricket in particular, to be able to get it out to as many people, all the cricket loving people out there as possible. So, and I love the business aspect. I love being able to try and find different ways to be able to make it work and connect and get as much traction. So I find that fascinating as well. So that's what influenced me. A guy named Phil Weatherald, actually. He still throws me balls. He's a super nice guy, and he was the one who really inspired me with T20 Stars. And yeah, just the coming into cricket. So the thing that inspired me to get into cricket, this is still from Deep Tea, was my dad in particular. My dad loves his cricket, always has. He always used to watch test matches, any cricket that was on. So he didn't play heaps. He had an injury when he was like 14 or 15 that stopped his real competitive cricket, but he always was obsessed and loved cricket. So that was where I got my love and passion for the game of cricket, and it's just followed on now. And now my son Will is starting to get into cricket more so after the last IPL, when he was able to start playing a bit of cricket in the hallway with Imran Tahir's son Gibran, and also Murali Vijay's son as well. So that was a way that he really got into cricket, just during the IPL, playing in the hallways of hotels. So the next question is from Naharika Rayner, and the question is, when did it actually sink in, when it felt like, yes, I can make a career out of cricket and do well for Australia? So look, it took a long time to sink in. From the age of 16, apart from my study, it was, okay, I'm going to be doing everything I can to be the best cricketer I can be. And for me, that was, well, if that means I'm the best club cricketer I could be, that's awesome. If that means I can achieve my dream of playing for Australia, then I just want to be the best I can be, whatever that is. So from that moment, I was very single-minded, outside of my study, to be able to see how good I could be. But it wasn't probably until, I was fortunate enough to get an early opportunity at 20 playing cricket for Australia in the one-day team in particular. But it really wasn't until probably around 2006 where I really started to become more comfortable with where my skills are at, and where my mindset was at, and where my body was at as well. And that was a real time where I'm like, yeah, okay, I've got some injury issues, which I always had, but I really feel like I can make a long career of this if I just continue to look after myself and keep developing my skills like I have, and pull as much information out of all the great players that I've been fortunate enough to play with. So I'd say 2006 was a time where I'm like, yeah, okay, this is hopefully with luck on my side, and I keep developing and learning, that I can really I could have a long career. So it took quite a while, because I never knew. I came into the Australian team in 2002 in one-day career, where I knew they were looking for a fast bowling all-rounder, but my skills were way down compared to the rest of the guys that I was in the team with. So yeah, I said it's probably 2005, 2006 when I really thought, okay, I'm going to try and make the most of this, and yeah, it's going to be my career. This is another question from Neharika. Who were the cricket influences growing up, a batsman and a bowler? So my heroes growing up was, from a batting perspective, Viv Richards was right at the end of his career when I really started to watch cricket as a young kid. So he was someone that I loved, just the way he took things on. But from an Australian perspective, I love Steve Waugh. But I love the combination of Steve Waugh and Mark Waugh. Mark Waugh, the way he played, just how beautifully he timed the ball with it just looked absolutely effortless. And Steve Waugh, just his tenacity of always just getting the team out of trouble when they were in trouble. So a combination of those two as a batsman. From a bowling perspective, I grew up in Ipswich in Queensland, and Craig McDermott was from Ipswich. So Craig McDermott was, and Merv Hughes, but Craig McDermott in particular were the ones that really inspired me. So I just wanted to be the best cricketer I could be. I wanted to be the best batsman I could be. So Steve Waugh, a combination of Steve Waugh and Mark Waugh, and fast bowling, I wanted to be Craig McDermott. I wanted to bowl fast outswing. So those two guys growing up were the ones who really inspired me to be the all-rounder and be the best cricketer that I possibly could. Okay, the next question is from Asharuddin Yusuf, and that is, how did I feel when I came to know that I was going to play under MS Dhoni for CSK, and then the criticism around the ageing team at that time? Look, when I always admired playing Chennai and the franchise. I'd always heard about. I always was very determined to do well against Chennai when I played against Chennai for Rajasthan Royals, because they're always one of the biggest rivals, and they had such a great team. But yeah, I just like Matt Hayden and Mike Hussey were the ones who actually played that I knew well who played at CSK, and they always talked about how incredible the franchise was, and so to be able to actually go in there and experience it for myself, they were absolutely right. The way the franchise is run, the love and support around the franchise, around the team, but then to be able to play under MS Dhoni, yes, I only ever played against him. I only ever played against him for playing for Australia against India in big games at times, and for Rajasthan Royals against CSK. So, and MS was always absolutely admired just how cool and calm he was. But to be able to then play under him and get to know him off the field and also on the field by playing with him it has been one of the very special things that's been in my career. Like, it has been playing with so many of the great players that I've been fortunate enough to play with. MS Dhoni is right up there. He's an incredible guy. He's achieved incredible things. He's an amazing leader. He's very cool, calm, collected in incredibly tight and high pressured situations, and he just knows how to communicate and knows how to not panic. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's the reason why everyone absolutely loves playing under him. And so that was it. And also CSK, to be able to play under Stephen Fleming as well. Like, for me, he is the best coach going around. His balance of cricket knowledge and understanding, and then his communication skills and man management skills are something that is super rare. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen. So to be able to work with those two guys, they are incredible leaders, and I feel very fortunate to be able to work under them and learn from them as well. Muhammad Hamza Yunus. So his question's just around advice regarding to how to train best. So, look, I've learnt the hard way through my mistakes around how to train best. And look, there's no question when I first went in my late teenage years, and my early 20s, I trained incredibly hard. I went to the gym 3 times a week. I was at the gym around 2.5 hours every time. I got given a strength program to build up all my different muscle groups. They were very generic, static sort of movements. So they were like bench press and bicep curls and squats and lunges and tricep curls and all that sort of thing. And also abdominal, but very general abdominal exercise like sit-ups and that sort of thing. And that really was able to set me up for having a really strong foundation. So when I was in my early 20s, I was very strong compared to most other guys my age. But that caused some issues as well. I didn't have great core strength and core stability at all. I was very strong around like my major muscles, so my legs and my upper body, but not so much my core, which holds everything together. So the things that I've learnt now is, one, of course, you have to have a really good fitness based, and there's one thing that Mike Hussey talks about in the episode Lessons Learnt with the Greats is around his fitness base that his dad taught him and worked with him to be able to have a really strong fitness base, where that was, and make it very specific to his movements, to what you need on the cricket field. So that's really what I've moved to, and what I did move to is, one, core strength. Yes, of course, I need to make sure that was really good through Pilates in particular. Yoga has been a huge part, just to be able to continue to lengthen out my body and my muscles and my neural pathways compared to them being closed and shortening as you get older. So yoga's been a huge part. But just being really specific with my movements, with my strength movements. So there's like strength bands that you can buy and use, and you can do very specific cricket movements, whether it's bowling, your bowling action, whether it's pulling down with your front arm, whether it's actually following through with resistance with these bands, or your batting movements to be able to actually practice your pull shots and your straight drives and everything like that with resistance with these bands. So now everything that I do is very, very specific to cricket, and yes, it's amazing. So many guys I've talked to, even an episode that's going to be coming up in a couple of, very soon, is an episode with Dean Jones. And Dean Jones talks about his fitness and about how cricket specific he was. Running between wickets, it was fielding as well. He did his fitness when he was fielding, so it was very cricket specific. So that's what you've got to get your body used to doing. So, Mohammed, hopefully that answers your question. I just do very specific movements now, because you just got to get your body used to doing what it needs to do on the field. So off the field, you just want to make sure you've got a really strong fitness base, but it is very specific to what you do. Next question is from Amitya Sengupta, and that is, what is my mindset when we're chasing a big total in a T20 game when we've lost wickets? So this is something that I've evolved over time, and especially since I've educated myself around the mental skills aspect over the last 4 or 5 years with a guru from the US. And it comes down to, initially when I was playing T20 cricket, if we lost wickets, I would then start, I wouldn't take any risks. I'd go back into my shell. I'd just start with working ones and twos and not taking any risks at all, not really letting myself go. But then if we started to build a partnership for an over or two, and then we lost another wicket, and I kept doing, which I did a number of times, I kept then starting again and building a partnership again for another over or two before then I went to take the bowlers on again. And I just lost so much momentum. There were games, I remember one game in particular, which was against the Deccan Chargers back for Rajasthan Royals. I kept just going back in my shell every time we lost a wicket, and then before we knew it, the run rate had gone through the roof, and then the game was just about too far gone before I took on the game again. So what I realise now is I've just got to have the mindset of what's me at my best. And for me at my best is being in a really powerful position. It's being very aggressive in my mind. I'm taking on the bowlers. Yes, there's a difference between, okay, no matter what, I'm taking this guy down. I'm trying to hit him for 6 every ball if it's a real good matchup, compared to, okay, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to take him on, but I'm not trying to launch every ball out of the ground. So it's like a 90 to 95% compared to 100% all guns blazing. Well, I'm just going to try and hit every ball for 6. So it's just knowing where that sweet spot is for me at my best. And even if we have lost a wicket now, I don't go into Michelle. It's like, okay, if they bowl a bad ball, I'm going to be all over it, whether we've just lost a wicket or whether we haven't. And if it's actually a matchup that I really know I've been waiting for during the game, that this is my time to really try and take down this bowler because it's a high percentage play for me, even if we've just lost a wicket, I'm going to do it, because that's just trusting my reactions. That's me at my best and having no doubt at all. So that's my way of now, if we lose a wicket, I don't go Michelle. I still have aggressive intent. I'm not just looking for ones, because when you're just looking for ones, you only get ones, maybe twos max. And then I actually have missed out on scoring like boundary balls because I've just gone into Michelle. So that's been a huge learning curve for me. And now that's what I do. So that's a very good question, Amitya. The next question is from Puvichunda Puvi, and it's, how do I feel playing against the Mumbai Indians, and especially in the final in the last IPL? Mumbai Indians, they've always been one of the best teams. They've won 4 championships now, IPL titles. They've always had a gun team. They always had some players in there who used to get on my nerves. One guy in particular, Kyron Pollard, who I'm good mates with now, play with him at T10, and which is great to be able to, that's the opportunities of playing these different tournaments, to get to know people outside of just on the field, the battle on the field. Someone Ambati Raidu as well. Yeah, we butted heads playing against Mumbai Indians as well. He's now playing with CSK. He's a super sweet guy. So, but yeah, Mumbai Indians always had some challenges against them. Harbhajan Singh used to play for him as well. All these guns. Anyway, so yeah, playing against them, you always know that it's going to be a big challenge. And playing them in the final, look, I was very confident that we could, come away with a win on the final. But Mumbai Indians have beaten us twice during the tournament before, or 3 times. They were the form team of last year's IPL. So I knew that we were going to have to be at our best. And look, in the end, we got lucky. They got really close, and unfortunately, I stuffed it. I ran myself out in the last over to not get us over the line. But it's an amazing rivalry between CSK and Mumbai Indians, and the battles that they've had over the times. And that last final was certainly one which unfortunately we didn't get over the line. But the Mumbai Indians are always a huge challenge because they've always got some of the best players in the world, and they continue to do it. So the next one is from Muhammad Ahmed. A question again, and thank you so much, mate, for writing these questions and sending them in. This question is, what subject was my least favourite at school? It's a good question. Look, I loved a lot of subjects, but the one that I was actually pretty good at, but I didn't particularly enjoy that much, was accounting. I was decent at, but yeah, I did find it a little bit boring. But I did it because I knew I was decent at it, and I was going to more chance of getting a better mark and a pass mark in high school. But the other side of the subject I loved the most was health and physical education, so H&PE. That was a combination of learning about the body, learning about health and diet and all that sort of thing. But also, we used to get marked on our ability to pick up a sport and play a sport. So whether it was baseball or volleyball or basketball or water polo, various sports that we got marked on as well. So that was my favourite subject. What did I want to become as a kid? I wanted to become an Australian cricketer. So that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream since I was a really young kid. So that's what I wanted to do. What other sports did I like? Look, I loved just about every sport. Growing up, I loved rugby league. I loved rugby union, which I played in high school. I loved tennis. I loved watching tennis. Golf, I absolutely loved. I used to play a lot through my teenage years. I played a lot, especially in the school holidays, and I loved watching golf. And that was a time when I was watching as well, where Tiger Woods was at his absolute best as well. So that was incredible. Swimming, just about most sports. I loved and I played and I did most of those sports. So yeah, all sport. That's the thing that I've always loved. It's an interesting question. One question is, do I like being famous or well known? And look, the one thing that I just am incredibly grateful for is when people appreciate what you do. And that's the thing that the older I've got, the more I just am so grateful for, is how nice a feeling it is when people appreciate what you do. And that's really the thing that's that I know I'm so fortunate to be in the position that I am, that there's so much love and support that I've had throughout my career and now throughout my life, because people appreciate what I do and how I do it. So that for me is a thing that I just love, and that's why anyone who comes up to me, who reaches out to me, I'm just so incredibly grateful. I really am, because the most beautiful thing that you can have in your life is some people appreciate what you do, and I have that, and I'm so grateful. There's a question from Anadi Vikram Mishra, and it's, what level of dedication and discipline is needed to represent your country and to be the all-rounder that, like me? Well, the thing is, you need to, as I mentioned earlier, you need to be single-minded on what you want to do. Yes, of course, education is the most important thing, to be able to have that to fall back on, no question. But outside of that, if I've just been single-minded on exactly every day, I'm trying to get better, I'm training to get better. And from a young age, that's just what I wanted to do. I was always looking to improve my skill technically, I was always looking to improve my physical ability. So like every day I was looking to get better. I always have. And even now I'm trying to find ways to be able to improve my skill and maintain my skill that I've generated. So you just need that, and that's tireless hours. And to be an all-rounder, the incredible fortune of being an all-rounder is that I've got so many more opportunities than I would have if I was just a batsman or if I was just a bowler. There's more leeway of me if I had a few not so good games to be able to keep getting picked because of the balance that I created with the bowling and batting options. And you always feel like I've always felt like I'm in the game. But that meant to be able to improve both aspects of my skills at training. I was just about doing double the work of most other people because I was trying to be the best batsman I could be. So I was training as a batsman. Bowling wise, I want to be the best bowler I could be, so I was bowling as much as all the other fast bowlers, just about. Towards the back end of my career, I pulled that in. I reined that in a bit, but fitness-wise and everything, I just need to be fitter than most people as well because I was doing more during a game. My preparation was different, so yeah, there's a hell of a lot that went into being an all-rounder, but I loved it. The opportunities that it's given me, T20 cricket's given me an amazing opportunity as well, but yes, it takes a lot of time and dedication, a lot of hard work, a lot of setbacks because I've wanted to continue to be an all-rounder, even though I could have potentially stopped my bowling and just been a batsman, but I just always wanted to be in the game. It's only really the last couple of years where I've stopped bowling because my body's getting older. It's making it more and more challenging to be able to get my body up for the sporadic tournaments I'm playing throughout the year. So that's been a big challenge. So now it's only been my batting over the last couple of years, but up until then, I had no question I always wanted to be an all-rounder no matter what. So that's what it gives you, so many opportunities, but there's a fair bit of work that goes into it. Another question is to get my perspective on who the best T20 player is, or T20 cricketer. So look, there's no question that Andre Russell is the best all-rounder. Like what he's able to do from a batting perspective, gosh, the impact he's had on games from a batting point alone, the back end of a game just hasn't really been seen before. And consistently as he does it is absolutely crazy. And then what he does with the ball, he's always picks up wickets. He's very impactful. When he's up and running fitness-wise, he's an amazing fielder as well. So he is. Jasprit Bumrah is the best T20 bowler. He's incredible, the skill that he's got. The new ball swings it at speed. He's different with his angle. He's got a great off-speed ball. He's got a great bouncer. He's got a great York under pressure as well. It means he's pretty good. Batting-wise, Chris Gale's the man. He's got the numbers, the numbers that he's got, the runs he's scored, the hundreds that he's scored are crazy to think that someone's able to achieve that. So he's obviously the main man of T20 batting. But AB de Villiers, what he's able to do, gosh, he's just mind-blowing in all situations. Is phenomenal in all conditions against all types of bowlers. Phenomenal. And Virat Kohli is just, you don't want him chasing. Well, you do if you're in his team. If you play against him, you don't want his team to be chasing because he just about chases anything down. He's got all the gears when he needs them, and it's phenomenal. So yeah, Virat's definitely right up there. Mirza Adnan is, how did I get my idea for starting my podcast, Lessons Learnt with the Greats? And that really just came about because I realised that all the people I've been fortunate enough to be around throughout my career and pull knowledge out of, I realised that not everyone gets that opportunity to be able to actually sit with their idols and just drag out information that you want to know and you want to learn from. So I felt that there had to be a way to be able to try and get that information out of all these different people for all cricketers and all cricket lovers to be able to, I'd say all cricketers as a starting point, this is my vision, was if I was 15 or 16 or 25 or 30, I wanted to be able to learn from these great cricketers through their experiences. But unless you're actually with them in a team for example, or you've got to know them really well, you don't get that opportunity. So that's where my podcast and every episode is just trying to pull out lessons that these greats have learnt, so the next generation of cricketers or any cricketer or cricket lovers can learn from. And yes, there is specific cricket questions, technical, mental skills, that sort of thing, and media, but also the financial lessons that they learn, because it's one thing a lot of people don't really talk about. So those, and then life lessons. So yeah, that's what inspired me, is just to be able to know that you don't have to be fortunate enough to be around and be in teams with these great players to be able to understand, have this conversation and get this information that I've been fortunate enough to have. So that was my real inspiration. Who is next on my podcast? Well, the one that's coming up is Rahul Dravid. Rahul Dravid, who captained me at the Rajasthan Royals I played with. He's a super amazing guy. Obviously, just one of the best cricketers, best test batsman the world's ever seen, and you'll love his insights. So he's the next one that's coming out, which you will absolutely love. The next question is from Ankit Agwal, and it's, how do I prepare myself mentally for tough situations? And this has really been around since I've educated myself around mental skills, and in time I'm going to be bringing out a mental skills course that I've been educated in. But since I really understand mental skills and how it works, I've got a very different approach to what I do now. Whether it's off the field, whether it's on the field with my preparation, and it's all about understanding what the things you are in control of. And for me, when I'm at my absolute best, all I'm focused on is what is right in front of me right at that moment in time. I've got no awareness or no focus at all on anything else apart from what I need to do right now to be the best I can be. So on the field, when I'm batting, it's okay, where's my mind need to be right now for me to be at my best? And just continuing to track where my mind's at. So then if I start to detour a little bit away or get distracted, I pull myself straight back immediately. So, and I know for me, when I'm at my absolute best, especially in the toughest situations, is when I continue just to pull myself back into the best version of myself. And this is you take this off the field as well, whether it's with my business or whether it's being the best dad or the best partner that I can be. It is defining what the best version of me is in all those situations, and then just staying present with that and continuing to pulling myself back into being that best version when you do start to wander off a little bit. So that for me has been something that I'm always chasing now. And now that I understand that the basic psychology around what that looks like is how you navigate your way through tough situations better. Doesn't mean you're going to get the better result, but you navigate your way through those situations as well as you possibly can for that moment in time. And that's been a huge shift in my mindset. And again, as I said, I'll be touching on this more in some tutorials that I'll be coming out with soon. And finally, the last question is from Sahil Choria, and it comes down to how do I manage the challenges that international cricketer has both on and off the field. And again, this is what, before I educated myself on the mental skills, look, I tried to deal with it as well as I possibly could. I tried to get as much learnings from all the people that I played with as well. But yeah, I didn't probably deal with it as well as I could. Well, I didn't deal with it as well as I could have. I allowed outside influences distract me. I allowed outside influences put pressure on me at times as well. And I put a lot of pressure on myself because I just wanted to do so well all the time. And I thought that if I trained really hard, that should guarantee me results, which that's not what happens. You train really hard to give yourself the best chance of getting the results. And there's so many various factors that can get in your way, good and bad, that do dictate the actual outcome that you're trying to achieve. So once I understood these different aspects, then the pressures just come off. Yes, there's no doubt that my default my natural default has been to worry and think about what might happen. Why did I do that? What might happen in the future? But now I understand that that's like worrying about what might happen doesn't make the outcome less likely. And just understanding that. So now I just stop myself. As soon as I catch myself, as soon as I start to think about what the future or what happened in the past, apart from learning from what happened in the past, I catch myself and just pull myself into, okay, what do I need to do right now? So, yep, the media scrutiny, I allowed that to really come inside of me at certain times throughout my career, because I just didn't know how to just move on from it and not allow it to penetrate how my mentality when I went on the field. So I moved from having freedom and not caring about getting out, which is me at my best, to then start to worry about, oh gosh, once I get out, the media's nailing me, I'm about to get dropped, all this sort of thing. So yeah, my mentality's definitely changed, and adjusted, and this is where all of these experiences I'm going to be continuing to put out there for everyone to be able to understand, is educating people around, okay, you can get this information, 16-year-old, early 20s, to navigate yourself through life easier. There's always going to be challenges, no question, but just to be able to navigate yourself through there without having to put up with probably the pain as much as I did, because I didn't have as much knowledge around how to be able to get the best out of myself without putting too much pressure on myself and worrying, the stress and anxiety that goes around worry. So yeah, definitely look out for this. It's going to be coming in soon. Look, I hope. Thank you so much for sending in all of your questions. Please, I'm going to be. I'm doing a Q&A every month. So please send in throughout the month. If questions pop up, please send in your questions to the email address info@t20stars.com, and I'll be answering all your questions every month. And I thank you so much for all your support, to be able to sign up to the newsletter, to be able to continue to get this information out to the world, and for your love and support. I am just so incredibly grateful. So please send in your questions. And again, thank you so much for your support. And I look forward to answering your questions, more and more of your questions next month. Please take care, everyone, and stay safe, and we'll catch you soon.